Let's see.
You're covering me up.
You're still on there. Welcome to the 7 o'clock talk. And tonight we're going to talk about the 5 conditions that we treat most. And you'll see that a lot of these things have similarities. And so the 5 conditions that we treat most are fatigue. And this isn't politically correct, but my mentor says this the same way. He goes, the 5 conditions are fat, fatigue, digestive health, depression, and sex hormones. And so when you're looking at these things and you start to really dig in, the one that really kind of encompasses all of the others is the fatigue. And when you start to deal with fatigue, you have to remember, you have to realize that fatigue can come from your hormones. It can come from, in the hormonal range, you could be stressed and it could be cortisol. If you're female and you're getting to perimenopause, your estrogen can be down, your progesterone can be off. If you're a guy, it could be your testosterone. But then you got to start to dig in and figure out why these things happen. Because you can just give pellets and pills and stuff like that, but it's more important that you make sure that everything is working so that you can get rid of that stuff, right? You got to be able to metabolize it out, because if you don't metabolize it out, then it starts to also back up. The next thing, other than hormones, is your neurotransmitters, because if you don't feel good and if you're not thinking right and you're not in your right mind and you're cloudy and foggy and stuff like that, then you don't feel like doing anything. And what is one of the best things to battle fatigue and depression? Exercise. The number one, bar none, thing to help with depression and weight and fatigue is exercise. And so then if your neurotransmitters aren't hitting and aren't working, then you just aren't going to be in your right mind to do these things. And then last but not least are the mitochondria. And you got to really be careful and protect these little guys, because your mitochondria produce all of your energy. And think about this. If you aren't producing energy, and let's make the analogy that you have $100 and you have $150 worth of bills to pay, you're going to prioritize things. And that's what your body does with its energy. And so if you are low on energy, it will prioritize making energy over making hormones, or it will prioritize making energy over making neurotransmitters, or actually I should say neurotransmitters, because they come from here. And this stuff goes throughout, but usually, and did you read that thing I put on your thing about your desk about the psychiatrist?
Because I didn't have time.
She was running all day today. She had how many IVs to do?
I had 3.
3 in the afternoon. So she was running left and right.
But I didn't get there till late because I had stuff to do here.
Yep. She was taking care of toys here. And so as we look at that and we think about that and we look at the fatigue, if you are overweight, the same things come into effect. If you can't produce enough energy to make your liver detox, then you're going to start to get things backed up into it. And so the same things come into play: your hormones, your neurotransmitters, and your mitochondria. Anything to add on any of those so far? How important are the hormones? I don't know why we call them sex hormones, because sex is one aspect. It is not everything, and it's not the end all be all, but it is an important part. But your hormones, they run a lot of stuff, and they make your goodness. If you're female, you have estrogen and you have progesterone and you have a cycle, and you've got to have this cycle in order, and you got to make sure it works.
But you need testosterone too.
Yeah, because if you don't have testosterone, you can't build muscle mass for sure, and you're not going to have energy. And for women, testosterone is linked to sex drive. But if you don't have progesterone and estrogen, then that's when women start to suffer from dryness and irritability and those types of things.
And testosterone breaks down to progesterone, right?
Testosterone will break down into estrogen. So these things are all related. And then the next thing that you start to look at is digestive health. Well, digestive health kind of encompasses all of that, because if you have an infection, your gut's going to break down, and if your gut breaks down, then you can't absorb the nutrients and minerals. And we've just seen that with you today with your GI map. And hi, Kathy said, ho hi.
Miss Kathy, I did not forget about you. I just ran out of time and I just been racing. And thank you for the sign.
Yes, thank you very much for the sign.
We do need to call you though.
And so we're probably going to see very similar things where...
Oh, we got off track. We were talking about my
digestive health. Well, I was just going to say, we've seen today where Jessica has a fabulous diet. She sleeps well. We track our sleep. We do everything. But because of damage a long time ago, we still have to go through and do the repair. And you can't truly heal. You can't truly fix things unless you take care of that infection and take care of the leaky gut, the gut dysbiosis, all kind of simultaneously. It just depends on how healthy you are. And since she's pretty healthy, then we can actually address all of those things at the same time.
Well, and it wasn't even as bad as what it looked like. The little lady was quite impressed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can tell she's done a lot of work, because really the only thing we have to work on is the infection and diversification of the microbiome and increasing the number. And that, I mean, if you get your gut in check and in order, then you can do... it will forgive a lot of sins, because you can eat something and it's not going to irritate you, because it's not going to get through the secretory IgA. And so that's what we're working on. And it's funny, because we do a lot of physical exam and physical diagnoses. And if you look at somebody's tongue, that center crease in somebody who is gluten sensitive, it'll be really deep. Hers doesn't do that.
No, but I'm absolutely sensitive.
Oh yeah, she's.
But that just means I eat well around it.
Yes. So those are, so that's fat, fatigue, and we talked about digestive health. We touched on depression, because depression can be from the hormones. I mean, if your hormones are low, you are depressed, especially if you're female. Guys tend to have it too. That's just not something, knock wood, I've been cursed with.
And it's also related to your digestion, because if you're not digesting properly, you're not getting your nutrients, and that's really is.
You're not getting your amino acids.
What's the B's?
B's and the amino acids, because your amino acids build all your protein. And I forgot to show you that. There was a fabulous video today from one of my mentors, and he was talking about H. pylori. And we've seen several people now come low with tryptophan. And what ends up happening is H. pylori attacks the kynurenine pathway. I'm not saying that totally correct.
Kynurenine?
Yes, what she said. But basically, that's how we make tryptophan. And it attacks that and it breaks it down. So then you can't take tryptophan out of your foods and make it. You can't take the amino acids and build it up. It's quite impressive how.
So you have to treat the H. pylori before everything else comes online, right?
Well, you have to treat the H. pylori and you have to heal the gut at the same time. There is an art to this. This is not medicine where, oh, you've got a headache, here's your aspirin. You have an infection, is it gram negative, gram positive? What antibiotic do we use? This is, hey, we got to pump the brakes on these things over here and allow your gut to heal. And we also need to treat this bacteria with some herbals and kill it low and slow so that it doesn't go into hiding. And
Or you feed the good guys that kill out the bad guy.
yep.
But that takes longer, more discipline.
And so but don't get me wrong, it's absolutely worth it. And it's a blast. And it's not like you're healthy and then you're not.
Well, it's kind of fascinating, really, because it's really kind of like a game.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely a game, because it's you not against nature, but it's you working with nature to get the outcome that you want. It's like playing the retirement game. Hey, I want to retire with X amount of dollars, and so how can I do this? What do I need to put into place to do that? So once again, and then when the depression, let's actually touch for just a couple more minutes on the mitochondria. How are the mitochondria damaged? Well, you can check 8-hydroxydeoxyguanine, and that's actually in one of the tests that we do, and that is an indicator of DNA damage. The more that you have, the more DNA damage you have. But ultimately, that is a sign of oxidative stress, and oxidative stress is a fancy way of saying inflammation.
I know all about that.
Yeah. Miss Jess has been researching hot and heavy on inflammation and stealth infections and everything else. So Dr. Google was giving her the worst case scenario of everything.
Yeah, I'm way much better. I'm way better than I thought I was.
Oh yeah, she didn't think she was on death's door, but she thought she was on the block. So those are the 5 things that we treat the most. And when we treat these things, and I would love to say that I am omnipotent and I figure it all out right now. It is not. It's a trial and error thing. And I don't care who you could go to the godfathers of this. You could go see Jeffrey Bland. You could go see Mark Hyman. You could go see Chris Kresser. You could go see these guys, and they're all going to tell you the same thing. This is a test, don't guess, and then it's trial and error because everybody's different. Case in point, H. pylori in some people is protective. Kind of depends on if you have the H. pylori, it's a positive SNP or a negative SNP. If you have the positive SNP, then H. pylori produces this enzyme and it breaks stuff down and it gives you bad juju. But if it's the negative, then basically it doesn't promote the growth of bad things and you do all right. So it's just so much fun. I mean, it truly is. And we love seeing, if somebody's not getting what they need and they're not absorbing, watching them start to flourish when they're on the IVs. That's a really cool thing. That's a super cool thing because your IV has grown so much and you in such a short amount of time, because people do realize how ill and malabsorbed they are. They just don't absorb the things. And goodness, we've seen blood pressures drop. We see people feeling better.
Oh yeah, I love to see the smiles because they don't do anything different except the IV. And the one thing they've been trying to do something about for years, it kind of takes care of itself.
Yep.
And they look so much better. They look younger. They are vibrant. They have color in their face. And they're that sparkle.
On the flip side of that, on the complementary side, when we see people with acid reflux and
Hi, Aunt Judy.
we see people with digestive issues, with diabetes, we see people who are pre-diabetic, we see these things clearing up.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is you can, but don't go down this path unless you're ready to do some work. I mean, if you don't want to change your diet and change your lifestyle, don't waste your money and our time, because it's just, I don't like
It's
those.
front loaded with a lot of work.
It is front loaded with a lot of work.
But it doesn't. So a lot of people don't want to change their diet because they think they're going to be sacrificing something. But
That's
really,
absolutely not right. That's so
we
not wrong.
don't sacrifice anything when it comes to food. Maybe bread, but then we figure out how to make our own bread with alternative things like almond flour or whatever, if that's what we want. But
well, I will tell you, I will put what we eat up against anybody's meal.
we eat fabulous food.
Yeah, I was going to say, and we'll see how we fare. I mean, there is hands down there's no fast food that equates into what we like. Now, is it quick? No, it's not quick, but
No.
it's worth it.
Take some planning, but we make some great food. We don't
Yeah.
miss out on anything. We always figure out a way to make what we want.
And you
It's usually better.
and you find high quality restaurants, and then you go into ambiance and you get to relax. It's not when you're going in and you got 1,000 kids running all over, and I have nothing against children. I love children. I love my kids. I love all the kids we have. But you're not running into Chuck E. Cheese. You know? It's nice to sit down at a meal and talk and be able to converse like this, because everybody's not drunk and they're just to party and have a good time. They're there to enjoy the ambiance and enjoy each other and to do those things. So and letting your hair down once in a while. She doesn't drink at all. I will have the occasional glass of wine or the occasional beer, but the days of being the bartender and doing all of that drinking and whatnot, A, they're over. B, it really doesn't do anything good for you. And that's what I'm trying to heal from, years of insulin resistance and years
Mine is
of
just years of ibuprofen.
Yep. So those are the 5 things that we deal with day in and day out: optimizing health, giving people immunoresilience so you can get sick. You're down a day. At 51, I had a headache the other day where I didn't test positive, but it seems to fit the whole COVID things, and had a headache for a day, joints ached. Next day, I was fine. So it's giving that immunoresilience back to the body. So you remove a lot of the things that hurt the body so it can just heal and do what it's designed to do.
Did we get them all?
I think so. I had diarrhea of the mouth. I just kept on talking. Oh, well, here, let's give you a few things that you can do just to help yourselves. So if you want to start a healthy lifestyle, your immune system is literally powered by fruits and vegetables, by polyphenols and bioflavonoids. Juice, go down to the farmer's market and go get carrots and celery and squash and fruits and tomatoes, and I don't care what, juice those fruits, and that gives you the polyphenols and the bioflavonoids in mass, and that helps. And think about the amount of vitamin C. So when we were talking about the mitochondria, the things that hurt the mitochondria are the oxidative stress, And what do you want for oxidative stress? Antioxidants. You are brain dead.
Yeah, I am.
You worked so hard
I
today.
did.
So
Give
you're
him some glutathione.
Yeah.
Give me some glutathione.
glutathione, vitamin C. You can take juice vegetables and drink it. I prefer if you also get the fiber in, but just for the amino acids and the vitamin C and the antioxidants and the other polyphenols and bioflavonoids, you can juice vegetables and just drink it. Lifestyle changes. You absolutely have to be getting between 7 and 8 hours. That's where you hear that 7.5 hours of sleep. It's plus or minus 30 minutes. These are the 5 pillars to health that we talk about all the time. You want to be eating a very, we call it a simple diet. Our food is not but 1 or 2 steps removed from being raw. It's either lightly sauteed or it's baked and then it's seasoned and then we eat it. So, that type, and eat some raw vegetables. They're just good for you and get your fiber in. Then after that, so you've got the 5 pillars to health. You've got sleep, nutrition, movement. We like CrossFit,
Bicycles,
swimming. Hiking, swimming. You don't have to go to the gym. Just get outside, mow your lawn. I really don't care. Stress relief. So a prayer habit, a meditation habit, a yoga habit, a Tai Chi habit, whatever the case may be, that type of a habit. And last but not least, the people that you're with. If the people that you're with are Debbie Downers and Bobby Breakhearts, just dump them, move on, get new friends. There's a whole lot of people out there. You don't have to hang with schlep rocks, as I call them. So you just move on. And those are the things that are the lifestyle changes that are the base. And then lots of water, half of your body weight in ounces of water. And if you are really, really, really large and half of your body weight is 150 ounces and you're 5 foot tall, no, go for your ideal weight. If your ideal weight is 120 or 150, you're looking at 60 to 75 ounces of water. So,
but most importantly, you don't even have to do all those things at once. You just have to make one change, one step forward, and just keep taking one step forward.
Yep. So with that said, you all are welcome. You have a good night, and we'll see you next week. Maybe if I can end this broadcast.